Welcome to the Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I'm here for the first day of Railfest 2022. It's my first time attending Railfest, and I'll be joined by fellow YouTubers JP Videos, Randy from Emerald Sound Productions, Alan from Revenge of the Apocalypse, Simply Exploring and Adventuring with Lewis, and our good friend Matt. Railfest had been held every year until, of course, 2020. This is its first year back, as it was just a few weeks ago that Steamtown finally fully reopened and started running excursion trains again. Because I was only able to attend the first day of this 2-day event, it ended up being a whirlwind tour. I got to do most of the train rides and special events I wanted to do, but I had to skip many of the main museum exhibitions. I will go back another time to explore and film that, though. This video is a highlight reel of my day. I have full-length videos of most of these events, which I will link to in the description below, and this video will have some new content that wasn't covered in those prior videos. We started our day at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Union Pacific Big Boy number 4012. This steam locomotive had undergone a several-year cosmetic restoration, and it was rolled back out onto display in May of 2021. However, until today, they were unable to have an official ceremony to reopen the display.
Now I would like to invite DRD Tompkins Spalding to join me up and help me open the cab of this wonderful locomotive so everyone can enjoy. Tours of the cab at approximately 10:45.
Okay, so we're taking a brief stop inside while we wait for our train. And we've got this beautiful Cutaway model. Well, not model, it's the real thing as a Cutaway. But I'm not going to go too into the regular museum displays today because that's something that can be done any weekend. But this by far is the coolest display.
I'm a member of a train club down in Dallas, Pennsylvania, the Stats. They have a big open house today down there. It only goes from 10 to 2. They have about 30 vendors.
And we've got a 3-rail O gauge layout here. We've got a big boy.
Monday, first prize is a big way. And I believe there is cars that will work at twice at once. I would like to be down there, but I won't be here.
Yeah, me
You
too.
need a brochure on our club, I can give you.
Oh, cool. Oh, we appreciate it. Oh, you got the Alpha PAs. They got the 16-cylinder 244s.
I've seen those PAs if any.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
For you, and just in case he doesn't share.
My engine was former Santa Fe. That's true.
So this is the other star of today's show. This is the Baldwin Locomotive Works number 26. And she's got a couple Central Railroad of New Jersey excursion cars behind her. And we are going to be going for a ride. This is the first time I'm seeing her under steam. She was on static display last time I was here. And that was the day I rode behind Canadian National number 3254, which actually turned out to be one of her final runs. And we got the Caboose coming back with the nickel plate road diesel. We're going to give this thing a ride too later. You ride the Caboose, not the engine.
locomotive, Baldwin number 26. Back in 1929, a famous Baldwin Locomotive Company, one of the biggest builders of steam locomotives in the entire world. Our coaches here date back to the 1910s, 1920s, commuter cars. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed your trip. Thank you for listening today. Heading back, we're going to pass by the big concrete silo. That was for shoring sand. Sand was used on the rails for slippery conditions. We had a dome on top of our rail, sand. goes slip, the pipers stand right down onto the track. Modern trains today still do it. Concrete circles at one time used to surround oil tanks for the diesel fuel. The tall steel tanks inside the circle basically lead that concrete would keep it in one location. On our south side of the train, you can see our big locomotive 6039. Speedy snow about to go on the road to Buffalo. My gown stays bright from morning till night on the road danger site. She didn't get the dust on her because that clean burning anthracite coal. So that advertising campaign came about in the early 1900s and lasted basically through the 1940s, 1950s. Lackawanna had bigger competitors, certainly like New York Central and Pennsylvania, even Erie for many years, for people traveling between New York City and Chicago. On the Lackawanna, you could take the train from Hoboken. Just passing next to the Radisson Hotel, the former Lackawanna passenger station. Opened up in 1908. Building served as a passenger station from 1908 onwards. Building's been a hotel since about 1983. Passing alongside the University of Scranton, at one time known as St. Thomas Aquinas School. Excellent university. The school is on the north side of our train. On the south side you'll see some extra railroad tracks.
Okay, thank you.
Parking lot here. It's down below the tracks.
Yeah.
We get one whistle when the train stops. We get two whistles when the train moves forward, 3 for backwards. What does it mean when you hear many whistles in a row? Just get out of the way. You can move off the track a lot quicker than the train can stop. As we're backing down past the university, if you look past the classroom building on the hill, you'll see the old mansion or Scranton estate. That was home to Joseph and Scranton, cousin to George and Selden, who started. And this little parking lot is down below us. That was the location for the passenger station for the trolley line for the Laurel Line. Our collection was started by one individual, Mr. Francis Nelson Blount, in the 1950s, late 1950s. Mr. Blount was a very smart man. As a young man, he got his education. His family owned a couple small seafood boats or fishing boats. He used to fish for oysters and clams. They did better here as a more central location, close to a lot of the big cities and the interstate system. but they still struggled financially. In 1986, the collection was donated to the National Park Service, October of 1986. And of course, the National Park Service soon found out how fun and how expensive trains could really be. Now, as our train moves through the yard, you may or may not be listening, but you can hear the bell ringing. Of course, we do have a lot of activity, of course, today being Railfest. We invite you to explore, but if you're out in the railroad yard, please be very careful. If you haven't done so yet, you're certainly welcome to join our crew and ride in the Caboose. It's a shorter ride, but it's pretty neat. Not so many people get the opportunity to ride in the Caboose. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes.
Hello. How are you?
Good, good.
Hello. Hard to hold the camera and get up at the same time. What did you think of your train ride? You liked it? You ready to ride in the Caboose? All right.
Welcome to after. Good morning. You doing that? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll be sitting back at my desk over here and working my paperwork, which will include bills of lading, roller bearings, technical terms. We'll get into it. But brass bearings have a tendency to overheat if they're not lubricated. So it's smoking box, they go on hot box. Not a good thing because they smoke, they heat, they overheat, they seize, the train wheels go off, wheels stop, train goes off the tracks, not a pretty thing. Okay. The rest of my crew will be sitting over here, sleeping on these benches, creature comforts, lockers for equipment, stove for cooking, literally. Bathroom, all the comforts at home. I leave home. Now I can work right over here. Back in the day, before the better air brakes that existed, Caboose was really kind of mean. So by the 70s, it sort of went out of favor. Relegated to, the Caboose was relegated to escort service for military, hazardous materials, nuclear stuff, etc. and short legs. Nowadays, you just have the end of train device. You can pretty much dump the train from there, from the end of the train. Most engines now, big engines, have the dynamic brakes. They don't really need the brakes on the cars. This Caboose was built in the 1950s in the Taylor shops, right here in the Scranton area. It's built on a tender frame, tender of a steam locomotive. It was strong and rigid enough to be used in pusher service. Pusher service is when we have the big freights that, big coal drags going up and over these hills. Another engine, a steam engine, and Caboose would couple onto the back of the coal drag and help push it up and over the hill. The steam engine is Baldwin 626. This engine right over here is Canadian Pacific 47. All of them have the manufacturer part. It's just for people who take care of the money and all the resources and understand where everything is. question for you. Why can't a steam locomotive sit down? Because of what? I didn't hear.
She said because it's busy running.
No, well,
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer. Because it has a tender behind.
I like that.
That's good.
With that, last the air horn. And we're good.
Okay, the whirlwind tour continues. I got my exercise for the day, walking back and forth to the Trolley Museum to buy a ticket. And that's where I'm going now, is for a trolley ride, which will be my first, believe it or not. And over here we have two lovely Reading engines. We have 2124, that's the T1. It is not operational, but it is just like the 2102 we've been chasing. And then there are the two F units, number 902 and 903. And the guy on our Caboose ride said that basically these are operational, but they do need a tune-up. And down there is the roundhouse where they're giving the Caboose rides and the Scranton Limited rides behind Baldwin's steam locomotive number 26. And up here is the trolley platform and the nice little trolley car, which is electric, that we're going to go for a ride on. Alright, and here's what we're riding next. It's the Scranton Trolley number 76. Hey. Okay. We're kind of doing all our stuff here.
Yeah, let's go in the back here, Jamie.
Okay, we'll do. Let's get ourselves a peek at the operator's cab here while we can. And you know that's something I'd like to do someday. Without giving too many spoilers, I found out yesterday it might actually be possible.
This side, yeah, okay. Where are you sitting, Jamie?
I'm sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, okay.
We got Randy from Emerald Sound Productions, we got JP Videos, and we got our friend Matt here. So a bunch of us are going to take a ride and hopefully not cause him too much trouble.
Yeah, right. 4 of us cause trouble?
Yeah, never.
To begin our trip, we're going to close our doors. We're going to give our motorman 2 bells. And here we go. We're up. Hang on to your nickels, everyone. The famous trolley expression. That was the original fare on the trolley car. Here we go. To enter. That is a very old line closed in 1900. The railroad we're traveling on, the Lower Line, was built in 1903. This is our #1 industry. We were considered one of the richest anthracite coal fields in the world. At one point, we were supplying 75% of all the anthracite for the world from this region. It was called the Northern Field. And our last operating coal mine closed here in 1967. So we do not mine anthracite coal here anymore. Today, that is a Lackawanna County coal mine tour up at the Cave Park. If you ever get a chance to take it, highly recommend it. Very educational. Constant 55 degrees over winter. Winter or 100 degrees exit 90. We're actually going up now. So if you are coming in, be very careful on this step.
Alright guys, so we've reached our destination at the end of the line here in Scranton. And we're actually at the baseball stadium. You know, in real life, the trolleys used to take people out to this. I think you actually do still have games where you can ride the trolley out to the game.
When we have it out here, we do not do 80 miles an hour, just in case you're wondering. It's still only 30-mile-an-hour track. That car ran up to 1985 in service, and the car you're riding on, 1975. Well, as you're coming in, you're going to notice the track on the wall. And what this is about our ride now. This will give you a little perspective. This is the entire 5 miles we just traveled. Left where we began our trip in Steamtown, right is where we're all at. And we are going to go back the exact same way.
Well, we'll give our motor in 2 minutes. And here we go, everybody.
And up here, guys, we're going to get a look at this switchback. And I had no idea till this ride that this was even here, but it sure as heck reminds me of my N-scale layout that I'm building.
Well, here we are, everyone. Thank you very much for riding with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really enjoyed that. After our trolley ride, we boarded the shuttle bus to the Scranton Iron Furnaces, where the Arts on Fire Festival was going on. We bought lunch from the food trucks, and I enjoyed a delicious and filling quesadilla. Steamtown had their Ring of Fire exhibition here, which showed how rims on steam locomotive wheels are changed.
You'd add a little bit of air to this. You get a nice hot flame. That's how we would run it if we were going to change it. We're going to heat it up quickly before the heat soaks into the rim too, so only the tire expands. That's how we change tires on antique steam locomotives. Yeah, they change old wheels. No, well now if you look, here's a picture. You got a driver. Now this just rolls.
Right.
This here, you have a drive pin for the drive rod, then you have the counterweight. It's all cast and filled with lead. So that counterbalances the drive rods. So instead of having to replace that whole casting, all you have to replace is that outer tire.
The highlight of this event was an iron pour into blocks of compressed sand that festival goers had made etchings in. Unfortunately, I did not get a great view for this event, but hopefully these short clips give you an idea of what it was like. I didn't have time to explore much else at the furnaces, but this is a place I would like to visit again to learn more.
Letting slag run out. Now they're skimming the furnace.
Alright guys, this is what I came for. We've had a lot of really cool things we've done today, but I absolutely had to come up here today because of this. This big boy is on display every day. All you got to do is pull in the parking lot to see it. But only a couple times a year do they let you in the cab. And today is one of those days. And I've never been in the cab of a big boy before, so let's get on this line and we're going to change that right now. Hey, are you JP Videos?
Oh, we've been asked that 4 times today.
Yeah, we're here with JP Videos and Randy from Emerald Sound Productions. Can I drive it?
No.
No. I brought Cole.
Okay. Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. 3.
Come on in, guys.
All right, thank you. This is the main event.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the big boy.
Thank you. Been waiting a long time for this.
Good.
All right, guys, it's our turn. Let's go. I'm going to see if I can get this thing started up and running down the tracks. I'm going to drive this thing, guys. You wait and see. This thing's bigger than my home office. Check this out, guys. I couldn't even begin to guess what all these dials and gauges do. I know that's the door to the firebox there.
Parking brake.
Parking brake. I think this is the
yeah, the most important one.
I think that's the throttle. There we go. There, I wish that was blowing the whistle.
This would be brakes, I believe.
That would be brakes, I think. Or is that, this would be the throttle, right?
Throttle, yep.
This would be the throttle. This is what makes it go. I think this changes direction.
So.
And that would be the brake. And I don't know what that does.
I don't know.
I probably have this all wrong, guys.
I'm pretty sure I always see them using this when they're accelerating. Or
You guys can let me know in the comments how screwed up I have it. But it's not moving down the tracks, so I obviously don't have it figured out. Let's take a look around. I could sit in this seat all day, but they already told me I'm not allowed to move in. And I gotta let other people have turns.
Alright, so this is engineer's view. You can see it's very limited. So if something where someone's in the tracks, it's going to be very hard to see them. I mean, you're looking so far ahead. It's almost
Oh, trade places with Randy here. Take a look in the tender. And this would be filled with coal. On the 4014 big boy, which actually runs, which Union Pacific restored a few years ago, they converted it to oil, so it would not have the coal back there. And this would be the fireman's seat on this side that Jay's sitting in.
for someone else there too.
There you go.
Fireman.
There we go. I got plenty of room to look out front here while Jay manages the temperature in the firebox for us. Alright, I'm going to quick snap some photos, guys, so I'm going to turn the video off here. And we've walked around this before, guys, but for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll just do a quick tour so you can get a sense of the size of this locomotive. This is a Union Pacific Big Boy number 4012. It's a 4884 wheel configuration. So we have 2 sets of driving wheels, and then the front portion of this frame is articulated. But I didn't get in your shot, did I? Okay. Now I gotta thank Jay because it was in his video before our last visit that he mentioned that they parked it on this curve here specifically so you could see the articulation in the front end. And you can see how this first set of driving wheels and the pilot wheels, that's actually on a separate frame that swivels independently of the boiler. And every time I walk around this beauty, I just want to go see its twin 4014 run. I've seen some big locomotives on the tracks this year, 2102 and 1309, but this thing dwarfs both of them. And I just can't imagine how amazing it's got to be to see this thing run. And there's the cab right there. It's the window we were looking out from the driver's seat. Jay, Randy, and I made one final excursion outside of Steamtown to Railfan number 26, pulling the Scranton Limited past the university. Unbeknownst to us, Bridge Row was closed for construction, so we had to power walk to our photo spot. As you can see, we made it just in the nick of time. The grand finale was watching number 26 drive onto the turntable, get spun around, then drive into the roundhouse. I love how Steamtown always takes the long way around with the turntable to let everybody have a good look at the locomotive. So would I come to Railfest again? Absolutely. If possible, I will do both days next time because there's just too much to fit into a single day, especially with the addition of the Arts on Fire Festival on Saturday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the tracks.